The book is called Grown Up Faith, God's Big Picture for a Bigger Life. And I've been asked, what do you mean by grown up faith? And does anyone ever arrive at grown up in their faith? Well, when I was a kid, my oldest brother would say, "Oh, grow up." Like the time when I ran away from home with my other brother, Ron. But 30 minutes from home, we got hungry and realized we had no food, no plan, no place to sleep. So we got back home before Mom and Dad found out. It's easy now to look back and realize the problem was not my parents. I just needed to grow up. And that applies to faith. In our relationship with God, there are three things that have to come together at the same time for us to grow up: our mind, our heart, and our will. Our mind requires biblical knowledge to grow up. Our heart requires spiritual intimacy to grow up. And the will requires holy obedience to grow up. Now, I'm very visual, so here's how I would draw it out. At the place where all three overlap is where our faith is strong and developed. Our goal is to get all three aligned. The more we align them with God, the larger the overlap, and therefore, the more we are grown up in our faith. And if we were to get our mind, heart, and will 100% aligned with God, well, we would be more like Jesus, where his mind, his heart, and his will was 100% aligned with the Father. He's the only one who has, if you will, arrived. The rest of us are always in process. But once you know what it means to grow up in faith, you know where you tend to break down in faith. For example, many times our history or church or denomination or personal bents cause us to elevate one of these three and thereby neglect the others. For example, when you elevate the mind with biblical knowledge over the heart and will, you risk intellectualism. When you elevate the heart with spiritual intimacy over the mind and will, you risk emotionalism. And when you elevate the will with holy obedience over the mind and heart, well, you risk legalism. And with each risk, you end up with an anemic definition of grown up and wonder why you are spiritually stuck. So consider getting a new definition of grown up in your faith and ask yourself, which one of these three, mind, heart, or will, most need attention?